The following video was pre-recorded on twitch.tv/codedman9000. More information on the stream times at the end of the video. Previously on Stone to Space.
For the start of Chapter 3, we went to Kerbal Space Program to learn how to make rockets so that we could explore the stars for a new home. We began playing on career mode while not knowing anything about what we were doing. After doing some research off-stream, we then moved to the science mode with newfound knowledge. We went to both moons, created communication networks, planes, science missions, a space station, and then ended the game by traveling all the way to Duna in the Antari ship.
After arriving at Duna, our ship the Antares fell apart, causing us to land on Duna and mine its resources so that we could fix the Antari ship. We unlocked various buildings, and also different types of science. After fixing everything but scanners on the ship, we then left the planet behind us as we continued to travel in space.
Hello and welcome to a Twitch Plays Along series called Stone to Space. Today we're in Chapter 3, Space Travel. Today we are playing Oxygen Not Included.
What we did in the last stream is we noticed that we should probably start getting our dirty bricks started. So we put in some tiles and then ran out of igneous rock. We are working on getting carbon dioxide pumped all the way up here into our food stuff so that we can make the carbon dioxide related foods like the nosh sprout and the dust caps, which need carbon dioxide. I don't think Sleet Wheat does, but because it's a cold environment requirement, we're going to put it with the nosh beans in carbon dioxide. We did get close to having this all completed, but it looks like they're still doing the rails, which were the last things we put in there. There's probably some power lines mixed in there that's not completed done. And we also started digging out everything on the right side of the base around the stuff that we've created. Now, we are probably going to start getting prepared for making this a sauna. I'm not sure how we should go about this. There is more than enough water and such in here that we could just let it vent and have it flash whenever the volcanoes fall into it. But I think we really want to dig out everything below the volcanoes and just let the volcanoes like fall down, or let the magma drip down. There's one here. I think this is the large volcano, but I'm not sure. Could be either one of these two. I know this right here is a minor volcano. Over here is a gold volcano. There should be a cobalt volcano somewhere over here. I can't really see from this zoom. I know there's an iron volcano somewhere down here, but it's definitely far enough away that we can't see it right now. Alright, so I think we just get into it. Hey, yo. You guys may be proud of me that I actually had an adult-sized breakfast. I did not just have candy. On the way home, I had to try and drop off equipment for our cable TV because we realized that we're not using cable as much as we were, and we're just doing the streaming services. So I called up my cable supplier, and I told them, you know, I want to cancel my TV service but still keep the internet. They said, okay, but then they didn't tell me I had to return the equipment. I thought that, you know, because they didn't say anything, they would only tell me to return equipment if I dropped them completely. But no, that's not it. I got an email after our stream on Saturday that said, you know, we're wondering where your equipment is. So I went to go drop that off. Come to find out that the store of the people that provide me TV and internet also provide phones, and the building is only for phones. They do nothing with the rest of the company. I was like, why is this a thing? So now I have to go to UPS and drop it off with them, and then they ship it out instead of them just taking it to the store and the company handle it from the store. It's only my state that does it this way. So the rest of the US with this company is all normal stuff. Come on, if you want to lay on my lap, you gotta get up here. Come on. What are you doing? They're right next to me trying to climb up from underneath my armrest, and I don't think they can make it. There. What if I give you more room? Come on. What are you doing? You're just staring at me like you can't get up here. There you go. You're a pretty boy, aren't you? So anyway. You have Comcast? No, I actually have Verizon. Comcast, however, may be the next place I go to because my internet bill is pretty pricey for just internet and nothing added to it. But anyway, after I went there, I left, and on the way back home, I passed McDonald's, so I went and got some pancakes and tried both of their pies because I've never had a McDonald's apple pie, even though I worked at McDonald's for like 3 years. I never tried the pies. And they also had this pumpkin and cream pie. So I had an apple pie and a pumpkin and cream pie. They're both pretty good. I'm not too fan of the cream in the pumpkin and cream one, but the pumpkin portion of it was phenomenal. I love pumpkin pie. It's my favorite pie. And yeah, that's what I had instead of Skittles. Gina, did I tell you that I ran out, that I ate all the Skittles? So this was the box. Right now it's filled with Halloween candy from, you know, Halloween leftovers. And this was full. It had 1.5 kilograms of Skittles, and I ate all of it over the course of maybe 3 weeks, I want to say. Now it has Reese's Cups, a Hershey bar, pumpkin Reese's, which is just a Reese in the shape of a pumpkin. It has Whoppers, the candy Whoppers, not the favorite, not the Whopper Wednesday ones. And it also has Kit Kat. Is that 4 things or is that 5? Reese, Kit Kat, Hershey, Whopper. Yeah, that's 5. That should be all of them. I really like the pumpkin Reese's because they use different chemicals in the stuff that's not a Reese's cup. I don't know what it is. Oh, no time for a Walmart run? It actually is, Gino. You say that jokingly, but it is. Not for Skittles, but we do need to go shopping. I don't know if my mom's going to be able to wait until Friday for us to go shopping or not, because we get paid again this Friday. But anyway. I talked about that while this was all going on because I didn't know what else we were going to do. Once they finish all of this, we should be able to come down here and start prioritizing all of this. I think we'll do the vent first. Actually, no, we should get the plumbing set up. Is there anything else up here that is not ready? That's the polluted water, which comes up here and gets heated up. And then sent in here. And this could start being used immediately as it gets heated up. This is the salt water for the water weeds. I think this actually is too hot for them to grow. No, it's not. So we can do that now. And then this I know for sure is too hot. So we are not going to have it connected in, but we're going to do the rest of the pipes. Alright. You did Target run on Saturday? We sometimes go to Target, but our priority is Walmart. Alright, we should probably do this stuff so I don't forget to do it later. But deconstruct on buildings only and materials on gas only because that's what I use it the most for. I don't know if that did anything with the priority, but I think this made it better. So all the conveyor rails are on a 7. Exactly what they should be on. Let's do these next. And all of these. That's a door. We also have a bit of debris in here, so I'm going to tell them to sweep up that. Because it's technically in the room. Although at some point this is just going to be opened up to the vacuum. Or, not the vacuum, to the atmosphere. And at that time we're going to have to figure out if anything in here is breakable. Oh, we were also using steel to upgrade our power cords. Or at least attempting to. So we took steel off of being only 2 aqua tuners in storage. So that's on the max storage. We have our hydrogen. Chlorine's getting built up. We're going to have a lot of chlorine. Target is much closer, about 4 blocks away. Wow, that is really close. We do have a target that is, in a way, closer. It's the difference between taking a highway compared to... No, there's got to be a different word for this. A highway in my area usually has a minimum speed of like 55 miles per hour. But there's also another road that I want to call highway that's 2 lanes going both directions, but it's not 55, it's like 40. I don't know if they're both called highways or not, but Target's on the slower one, Walmart's on the higher speed one. They're both probably the same time, even with the difference in speed factored in. It looks like they're doing all the pipes out here first. I thought they would have done the order that I queued it up, but I guess not. Is this still growing? It is, and there's polluted dirt in there, so that means it produced lettuce and then dropped it. That's fine. Why are you still running? Because you're close to being cold enough, but not now. Alright, now we have the polluted water going up. Once I do this, the salt water is also going to go up. I just want to make sure that this works. So let's do not a sweep on that, but a sweep on these, including anything that could be down here. So now the water, the polluted water is going up here. It is either cooling down or getting heated up through this. And then it's going up into here. Body temperature 35 to 85. Oh, it's too cold in here. Huh. Do I need to put radiant pipes out here? Let's do like 2 or 3 radiant pipes. Maybe we'll do 1 down the entire length. So we'll just pay. Maybe I do both sides. Let's do that. That might help. Move the temperature around. I don't want this on a 7 though, because then people will choose to do that even if it's not queued up for them to manually. Let's do the next priority, which is the gas stuff. What's going on right here? I don't think we need those. I think that was a misplace. Bring this all the way down. At that point, we'll stop it and let them get caught up to it. Once this is ready, we're almost done all the pre-planned things. The only things I can think of is the sulfur geyser, which is down here, right here. We still need to tame that along with the oil production. Over here, right here, should be a leaky oil fissure, so that's going to be tied into this, which then goes into a petroleum generator, or petroleum boiler. We also need to do the dirty brick for our carbon dioxide related power producers. And then we also need to do the puffs, which I think I'm going to squeeze in right here, which means that we need to tame this polluted oxygen vent. Aside from that, I don't think there's anything else to do other than dig out the entire base. Now, what would happen if I undo this volcano and just let it fall down? We would probably need something to block this off. We should probably also... Let's check on the heat first. Alright, this is definitely getting colder up here. We take a look at outside the base over here. It's 38. We'll round that up because I saw 38.8. We'll round that up to 39. In here, it's hotter because there's production stuff in here. But then way over here, at the top, we'll count that as 36. So with the oxygen going off, it is slightly colder over here. And it's only going to get colder as the temperature changes going over to this way. So I think we should work on getting this changed. Which would require us to deconstruct these. And we're going to need to make a liquid lock. Can I put a gas pump on the node the power line connects in? I cannot. Okay, so the pump would have to be up here. Which can be made out of these. Which means that line has to get moved. Over here is going to be like that. Can't really move the power line further than that. So let's go up and around like that. Nope, that can't be like that either. We need to make a liquid lock in order for us to know where the power has to get connected in. So if I go like that, and then we go up and over, we'll have to readjust this power line to go even further up. And like that, until we build the tiles in that block this out. That's also going to require us to go like that. And none of this is going to make sense until it's actually working. That's not a primary thing to get done. They are doing this very quickly, actually. Wow. They did everything up top, and they did everything at the bottom. They're just in this corner right here. Is it because we didn't make this out of igneous? Yes, it is. Make things out of granite, and it gets done quicker. The other thing we have here is that granite isn't a renewable source. Hey, Brushes, you start attacking the screen. You need to stay away. You go lay down on my lap, or are you trying to climb up on the table again? She did neither. She got down. Did I queue up the bridge? I did queue up the bridge. And I just built it. No. Good job, Regus. Alright, now we can prioritize all of this. This might not be enough. I'm hoping this is a large enough area for it to do everything over here. They're now doing this stuff, which should heat up the area a little bit. Oh, they actually heated up already. Well, now it's going to stay a little bit hotter than it would have. Alright, that's pretty good. This is too hot, so we need to cool up here. Let's take a look at our picture, because we need to know where all the food related stuff is going. Alright, so down here is two things that cool down the liquids that go into here. I also have a transformer right here. A gas cooler right here. I forget what they're called, but cools down gas. And then 3 aqua tuners. And I know they do different things. So one of them is for food. The other 2 is probably for the pups. So we'll do the same setup right here. Let's do a pod. Nothing in there. We don't have a place for shovel eggs yet, so I'm not going to do them. Let's do our first prediction of the day, before I forget. Is the pod on the top left of the screen going to be tops, bottoms, buildings, decoration, or wallpaper? You have 10 minutes to decide. They do these pretty quickly. Just kind of expected anyway. Now this oil feature is relatively close to the bottom of the base, but it's not the bottom. We also have this queued up for when we need more igneous rock, which we don't need right this second. And this is still off-gassing somehow. But it's stifled. Producing gas, but it's also stifled, so I don't know what's going on there. Okay, they're almost done all of this stuff. They just have to make the batteries and the wires. Which they're making out of cobalt ore. I did not know that. Luckily, there's not a lot of cobalt ore in that system. What you doing over there, paintbrush? What are you doing? She's just sitting on the bed. We're almost there, chat. We are going to put these on a 7 to make sure people run on them. We also have a nice amount of data banks. What are you doing? Oh, it's the kittens playing at the door. I was like, why do I hear a knocking noise? That's why I took the headphones off. Alright, they have these ready, because no one's running on it yet. And here we go. We do need another person in here running on this so that the batteries get charged up, but one person should be enough to run these for a while. And now we're getting all of that dirty carbon dioxide. I think they may be running on the other power generator. Yep. So now we should be getting a positive charge. We are. Once that's good, we'll be done. How far did the carbon dioxide get? Not very far yet. Why are we not on the fastest speed? I think one of the kids may have pressed the keyboard button a while ago and I just only now noticed. Suffocating. Huh. We're now back down to only one dupe. Which again should be fine. Actually, how quickly does this drain? It drains about as fast as it gets charged. Though it drains a lot slower than it's being charged in. Okay, so we're not too bad on that. We're about to start getting it up here. Now remember, we're gonna fill up both levels here. Because these need carbon dioxide, and so does this. But this down here needs to be at a different temperature. And you need to be a different vent. Because there's too much pressure in here. And I see why, because we have this as a liquid lock already. So let's do that to give the gas a way to escape. So we might not need to deconstruct this, actually. I'm going to prioritize doing that. And they did all of this already. So that, first I want to cancel all of that. And we'll just put a tile right there. Water like that. So is gas leaving this area? No, it is not. Okay. So we do in fact need to deconstruct this, like I originally thought. What we don't need to do is anything over here. So I am going to deconstruct all of this. And all of that. Once we build this, we should be getting more carbon dioxide in here. I guess I can't really call it more, it's just we'll be getting carbon dioxide in here. I could have sworn I watched somebody drop off cobalt to this. What's going on here? Oh, it's not on a 7. Iron ore? We made that vacuum out of iron ore. And there we go, we should get a bunch of carbon dioxide sitting in here. Once this room is filled up, we will put the liquid lock door there so we can cool this down. That's not going to be for a while, though. Because there's only one way for the gas to escape this area. Should I add a way over here for it to escape until we get this all built in? I think I will. We should be able to just go like this. And then not lose a lot of this brine by doing so. Because carbon dioxide's going to come over here more than it's going to go down. It has to fight a lot more to go downwards than sideways. We do, on the other hand, have a lot of extra gases in here that we don't really need. Wow. 6 kilograms of carbon dioxide is in this area already. We have a lot more to drain out of this area. We also have a little pocket of carbon dioxide over here if we need to get more. I don't think we'll need more. I think this might actually be enough. Another thing we could do is vent out this gas to the point where we only have a breathable amount of gas in here. Oh no, the brine! We're going to deconstruct that one tile and put in a brine emptier. I thought that it wouldn't really transfer much liquid through this. I do know we're gonna need a little tile right there for us to be able to get all this liquid. How's it doing down here? We have pretty much the same amount of gas down here. Almost 6 kilograms. So if we started vacuuming this area out, it might help the gases transfer a little bit easier. I'm debating on if we're going to try to get everything out of here and make it oxygen in this area. You know, the easiest thing to get rid of would be this hydrogen. They did pretty good over here. They got some stuff going. There is apparently bleach stone in this area, which was not off-gassing before, but now is. Okay, we can at least put in this stuff. It'll use power we don't have, but... or it'll use more power than we currently are. I think there might be something over here off-gassing, but I'm not sure. How's the carbon dioxide doing? We almost have the bottom portion done. We didn't get all of the stuff mopped up yet. Well, the chlorine's almost out of this bottom portion. Hydrogen has made its way up. It's almost about to be out. There it goes. Alright, now we can mop this up. And all we have to do is wait for this gas to get out of here. I think I will actually change all of this to being oxygen. Just for a cleaner look to this area compared to polluted oxygen. Even though it won't really affect any of the plants being polluted or not. Was this a regular tile or was it an airflow tile? I don't actually know. They did, however, sweep up the rest of that. And I think it's a good enough time for us to place these in. At least those two. If we can get all the polluted dirt or oxygen out of here before they build this, I'll queue up the rest. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Down here we have 6.9 kilograms of carbon dioxide. I think that is more than enough. They also did all this. So we need to deconstruct that. And that's it for right now. We need more water in here. There's bleach stone over here. Sweep that up. Alright, there's only 2 more packets of polluted oxygen over here. This one's pretty close to that. It might go up there. If we're lucky. Come on, you're so close. There we go. So now we're just waiting for this one. Go to the left and then up. There we go, that's all done. We can queue up these. And what I'm gonna do, just to keep Brian from escaping again, I'm gonna put a tile right there. And I'm actually gonna put another tile right underneath that to try and keep it together. Let's do that on a 7. You know what? Cancel this one, because we're going to vacuum out this room a little bit, which will help get the gases moving around. I'm just trying to think of how I want to do this. Alright, I have an idea. First step is deodorizers. Which is going to require us to dig up some of our plants. And then I'm gonna have to put stuff over here. We'll do there. There. Here. Over here is gonna have to be a little bit different, so I'll do there, and then over here. Uproot that, please. This needs to be farm tile. Over here could be one of these if I did the math right. Now remember this one on the right being the exact amount we need. So we definitely don't need a farm tile right there. I don't know why, but there's iron over here. No, that's cobalt ore, never mind. Which means that I should have left this opened. Or else they're gonna dump more liquid on top of it. I'm going to prioritize them, at least queuing up all of this stuff. We'll do that as well. Alright, and if we're lucky, the carbon dioxide's still pushing the other stuff out of here. Which means we might not even need this one down here. And that's the last of the brine before they do this tile. And I left this open so that the carbon dioxide can expand out here. much is in here? You know what? We're gonna deconstruct this as well. We're gonna allow some temperature escape. But honestly, it shouldn't be too bad. We probably block this off at this point. We probably want one in here as well. It does look like everything down here is starting to even out. So the carbon dioxide's doing its job. So I am happy with deconstructing all of this stuff. Get all that granite back if we need it later on. Alright, and I am going to prioritize the whole 2 tiles I want them to build in here. Oh, that time it didn't release anything, but before it did. Alright, then let's put all of this stuff back. It keeps getting a suffocating warning. Like an extra fungal spore, I mean. Well, they did all the stuff in here. So let's queue up the stuff in here. So again, going off of the picture, I have one aqua tuna there. And then another one over here, but I'm gonna guess that it's flipped due to... Maybe not flipped? Hold on a second. Liquid cooling in pipes. Oh, they're both flipped. That's why I got confused, because they're both like this. And that was all of our steel for at the moment. We could, however, afford this. And I think we can afford the thermal regulator, because it's only 200. That'll go right there. That's going to be for cooling this area down. Which means we're going to need to get some hydrogen over here somehow. And I'm not sure how we're going to do that. Okay, carbon dioxide is doing a pretty good job of pushing everything out. I am actually surprised. So we may get more carbon dioxide leaking up to this area. Which is fine, because we're going to vacuum out portions of this to make sure that we don't have too much gas. We're just waiting for the chlorine to get out of here. Just go up. Just go over here and then go up. It's that easy. Alright, since this is no longer needed, let's deconstruct it along with the power going to it. We still need all of this stuff, so we're not going to get rid of that anytime soon. We're going to need one in here. Maybe 2 so we can get those tiles. These guys are going through a lot of polluted oxygen though. Alright, so what I want to do is... I guess just put pumps randomly and try to get out the polluted, or the chlorine. So if I go there and there... I'm just gonna go like this. This is chlorine, we don't want that. We want everything else though. Gas filter. High pressure, high pressure. Power and power. Okay. Should be all we need in there. I'm gonna high prioritize sweep all of that stuff out of here. Unbreathable chlorine. And if we're lucky, we might not have any polluted oxygen in here by the time all the chlorine's taken out of here. Should we also start doing the carbon dioxide? I think we will. We're just going to do something simple by deconstructing this. And I want... I think just an Atmos sensor, which would be an automation. And the automation is on the left side, so I'm going to put one there. And then we pretty much tie it in just like we would to this. You know, I'm just gonna queue everything in here to be on a 7. Just so I don't have to keep going back and forth between 7 and 5. Alright, now let's grab another one of these, put that right there. That's gonna destroy some of the crops. It's fine, it's just mealwood. This is also mealwood. I am surprised that that's not reaching these when this side is. Or maybe it went up here. It may have been caught by this. What's going on here? Light oxygen. No wire, no power. I had 2 cats fighting behind me. Alright, and this should be anything above 500. Not 500. We'll say 2,000. So it should get both of these. Would it matter if the whole thing is made out of carbon dioxide? I don't know if it would matter. I am sitting here watching the chlorine get caught. We have a little bit stuck right there, but this portion is pretty much done. Come on, pick up all that chlorine. There we go, that chlorine's gone. So that means just the chlorine that's over on this side now. And then this is getting rid of the extra backlog here. Now it's only that one packet that's breaking apart occasionally. Alright. I want this to be below now. Because we're gonna have to build the same thing up here. Oops. So that we can get rid of the oxygen that's up here as well. And all the chlorine's gone. Awesome. Let's change this to polluted oxygen. Try and get rid of that. I think this still picks up polluted oxygen while it's over here. I'm not seeing any getting picked up by this. Oh, that's right, it picks up from here as the top of the cross. Not up here. Unfortunate, but okay. What to do about it? I think we're just going to deconstruct it now. And move this up one tile. So if I were to grab normal tile... This one is working still, though. Who keeps suffocating? Everyone outside should be in suits. I don't know what's going on there. Now that we are back from the ads, let's do our first prediction. We have 30 points in wallpaper. I hope you win. Now that we've gone past the 80s, I feel like we're not getting any more duplicates or blueprints. Not sure what's going on there. We have a decorations. We've only had maybe 2 of those. Aside, I'm taking your 30 points. We'll start the next one in about 10 minutes. It is above 2,000. How's this doing? Turn this back to being above. At least with this going as well, it's also helping move all this polluted oxygen out of here. And I don't think we need this anymore. Really not helping us. Oh, I didn't mean to get rid of that. Or that one. Get rid of that, get rid of all of this. And that. Good job, Marie, on getting rid of a bunch of stuff. This, turn that out to being a below so that all the carbon dioxide falls down. You on a 7 to get rid of the polluted oxygen. And I really want to do the same over here, so we're gonna deconstruct this and move it up 1. You know what, let's stay here. Copy settings to there. We have some power way up there for some reason. Oh, that's where we're gonna put the next one in. I almost forgot. That's for this. And this one already got rid of all that carbon dioxide, or not carbon dioxide, all the polluted oxygen in that area. That worked very fast. I am going to put a temporary block here with another one of these right next to it. Just to get rid of all of that, as well as deconstructing this. We're gonna have to deconstruct this so that they can get in there. And they are building all of that stuff very quickly now. Over here, we're just waiting for those polluted oxygen things to get caught. There's one of them. Alright, they should all be working now. What are you doing? Okay, this can get deconstructed. There is going to be a small amount of polluted oxygen in here at all times, because we can't get rid of all of it, even after deconstructing these. Congrats, Gene, on catching the Pokemon. Once all this is turned into oxygen, it should help with the pressure a little bit more. This can be turned back up. Might want to put one down here to make this go by easier or quicker. Right, where did the polluted oxygen go? Yeah, there's a little packet right there. So I try to get it out. I'm gonna try to get it out because it doesn't take too much to do so. If I just go like that, I'll grab a small amount of power. That's not what I wanted. There we go. We'll try to make this look neat. Alright, up here is almost the amount of pressure we want. Down here, there's a lot of pressure. So we're moving more carbon dioxide than we are oxygen. Taco, what's going on? Oh, we just have way too much carbon dioxide in this area. That's not helping. All this chlorine. How do we want to get rid of all this? I think I want to make this a NOT gate. If it's not oxygen for that time, then turn on. So that this should vacuum up anything that gets put down here that's not oxygen. Alright, I'm also going to just block these off. Ooh, glass or snazzy suit? We're gonna do the suits, because I don't think everyone has a suit yet. We scroll all the way down to the bottom. We have Ellie, Marie, Meep, Meemaw. None of them are name dupes, so we're just gonna go with the first one. Alphabetical. Still Taco doing the stuff down here, that's fine. Taco is surviving. Now the fluid oxygen worked its way all the way over there. So I'm hoping it gets pushed over here due to the drop in pressure. There we go. And with them being able to do everything on a normal priority, they're getting stuff done a lot quicker. Put that there. We'll go like this and do a mass sweep of the entire area. And then I think it's time to start all of these. We want edible and cooking ingredient on everything. And then I need to look at this. We want the top portion. So now we should be getting lettuce taken out of here, which it is. And the only thing we could do to make this a little bit more efficient is actually not much. But I was trying to think of how to keep the stuff out of Asana as much as we can, but it would be going up here, which is going to be in Asana. So never mind that. This should be getting vacuumed out. We're in micrograms already, so that's almost done. We do need to get rid of everything in there. Alright, how is this area doing? That's under 2,000. This is 3 still. This didn't get all of that. Why? Deconstruct. We're gonna leave that. We're gonna deconstruct this one, put a tile up high. Why is there chlorine in here? In an area that was empty? Alright, but the amount of carbon dioxide in here, I think we're fine. It is still moving upwards because down here has a lot, but if we close it in, we should be fine. I just wanted to get rid of that polluted oxygen that was over there. Gotta do the same thing over here, putting a small pump in here just to get rid of that. I do now have to get rid of these, which means there's going to be a small amount of polluted oxygen. I am going to do a small amount that's over here and try and get rid of that, just for looks. I'll just go like this and cue it in. Ah, they're gonna get rid of the pinch of pepper nuts. I hate when it does that. Let's connect this back in as well. Get rid of all that chlorine. Three, 6, 9, 11. Three, 6, 9, 11. Okay. I just want to make sure we had enough there. How's this doing now? We're at a pretty good spot, so I'm going to deconstruct all of this. That's so close, I might as well turn this on now. There we go, that's all gone. So now we can do the same thing to these. Can't destroy that yet. Can do the automation. And this is now a vacuum already. What's going on here? Body temperature. It's too hot in here? Yep. Alright. Mass sweep, please. This entire thing. Except for the nuts. Or the seeds. Is there anything else other than the phosphorate right there? No. How did they do over here? They're still not done all this. That's bleach stone. Get that out of here. That's salt water they'll get rid of eventually. Actually, they're doing it now. There goes the bleach stone, so this should be getting emptied a lot quicker than it was. And I'm guessing there's something in here off-gassing. Because there's no other gas in here, and this was at like 30 micrograms before. And now there's a Draco outside. Alright, let's do a check on our critters. Also, a Mappo P from out there. We now have all of this set up. This should be breathable oxygen. This should be oxygen as well. So now, after a little bit of time, this should turn green. There we go. So it's also going to get the little bit of polluted oxygen that's down here at the bottom. as well as all the extra stuff that duplicants can't breathe. And I have 2 kittens at my feet, as well as 1 on my bed. I'm trying to move my legs a little bit. There's one on the right should be going now. Or maybe I have the filter set to a longer distance. I think I had it set to a different length. Ooh, another suit. We'll do Marie. Let's do our second prediction of today. Is the pod on the top left going to be tops, bottoms, buildings, decorations, or wallpaper? Another 10 minutes to decide. We ran through all of our salt water, so I'm guessing they're both dormant. Yep. So that's not good, but that's why we have this on such a large backlog. To make sure... Oh, this was still pumping out oxygen. That, please. I forgot to keep an eye on this. So now there's a little bit too much carbon dioxide taken out of here. I'll let this figure out how it's going to sit, and then we'll deconstruct more, or vacuum out more, I mean. Alright, then this can be... put back. Where are you taking those 2 seeds? Alright, they did a little bit more stuff up here, so I'm going to start digging out the entire area. Let's go all the way down to here. We're going to keep stuff on Neutronium as a memento. I'm also going to cancel any plants being dug, because they're going to get dug out either way. Alright. Mass sweep of everything again. This should be set to only 2 critters. And I might as well do critter egg. Just to make sure that we have that ready. So what is this settling at? 12 maybe? We could set this to being a little bit lower than 12. Yes, I am putting back the same system we just took out. Juno's doing a great job of everything outside the base. How is this doing? We still have that little bit of debris. We're also going to have this debris. I also need to deconstruct that. I guess after we build this next... No, we can't do that. Everything inside our base is going to lose power for a little bit. Because there's no way that I can build this after putting in the power thing here. Wait, maybe there is. If I build right there, Now I can deconstruct this and get across. Is this the one that I want, or do I want the other one? I want the other one. I should probably change this out before I forget to. What's the difference between these two? Does it break maybe at a higher threshold? I'm gonna cancel that. We're gonna put the pump back in. I'm gonna switch this to cobalt. We'll put that back in, and we're just gonna change this to being that. So we're gonna have to deconstruct this, let a whole bunch of oxygen go in here just to vacuum it out. Is that the one that I wanted? No, it isn't. Okay, so for the most part, our food is 100% functional right now. We just need to get it cooled, which we were starting to get done. I do have another aquatuner which we can use right here. And then what we need to do is figure out how we're cooling everything down. Now I actually have this vent over one more tile so that we could put the automation right next to this. I don't think we need to. So what I'm going to do is just put this down here. And we'll have to figure out how we're going to do this. So it's definitely going to come in. Go up and then up again. And I guess that's how we'll bridge over. That doesn't seem too far-fetched. Which means that this is in a decent spot. Get it over here. We know how we're going to do this. That there. This should be all the same, just copy and paste. Ooh, actually it's not. We're gonna go like this. Bridge it downwards. So that still is the normal that we do. They're doing a phenomenal job of digging out everything over here now. The only issue we're gonna have is all the liquids in here. Well, that's why we were digging this all out. If they can do this one tile and then all of this, we shouldn't have any more liquids coming down here. I can't get that out without doing something else. So I'll have to figure that out in the future. Actually, there is a bit of more liquid over here. I'm going to tell them to come up here and dig downwards. And then I'm going to tell them to dig this out. And I'm going to try to get them to dig around. 2, 2, 2. That means all liquid would go in here. I do another 2, we can get to here and then dig this down. Then we can come back up and go this way. I think that makes sense. Especially if I let them dig it out first before doing this. We may also get some extra water weeds from that too. So that should be bypassing this whole thing. We're gonna have to mop this up again. And I see that there is quite a bit bleach stone over here. I think there was some right here. Yes, there is. Alright. Where else? I see some chlorine hiding right here. There you go. That's slime. I'm fine with slime off-gassing. That's a bit of oxalate. There's some bleach stone right here. Here's a little bit. Still have to mop again. Oh, that's from this. Okay. Somehow it got out this way. Alright, let's come down here and dig that out. Looking for more bleach stone. I'm not seeing any. I am only seeing more stuff to dig up or sweep out. Alright, you're gonna be 0, I think. We're actually gonna do -5. Because I think sleet wheat might need to be -5. No, it just has to be anything below 5. The nosh beans are actually the thing that's making us do colder. This can just be anything above 25. How's this doing? It's still getting there. Let's change this to 800, try and get this pushed down a little bit more. Because if this is at 900... should hopefully push all the carbon dioxide downwards. We'll have to find the sweet spot here and there. I'm gonna go 850. Just to let it settle down a little bit before it kicks on again. As it kicks on immediately. Alright, let's do 900. Because I see 960 at the highest over there. Oh, there's 1,000 right there. I don't know how there's 1,000 grams. It must have been stuck in here and just expanded out or something. Who knows? I think I'm gonna set this back to being 1,000. And we'll just switch it back and forth to try and get rid of a little bit more carbon dioxide. Instead of having to micromanage it. Is there any more chlorine being off-gassed over here? I don't see any more. Let's figure out a cooling loop for all this. It's coming in through the bottom, so if I go right, left, right, down, right, down and in, that should be it. So again, we're going this way, up, this way, oh, not like that, not spaghetti-wise, up again, not in the oil, like this, and then out. This, you know, we'll have both of them go through the cold area. It won't hurt it. Alright, now to pause and change everything that we want being cold stuff. Radiant pipes. This, and this. That should be all the radiant pipes we need. So I'm going to follow this line all the way back around. Just because I know that was going to take more than I had. Yep, that should be it. Let's get this bridged over. That goes up. This comes down. Down again. And then we have an issue with getting across this stuff. So we're probably going to have to come in from up here. How would we prioritize this? Let's first start right here. So if I do in, that means this has to go up, and then another in, which means another up. Which means down here can't be the same. We would have to go up again just so we have the offset because of this being right there. Or we could move this all down one line. I think that might be the easiest fix because of where everything is placed. Let's... Yeah, it's a little bit easier for me to figure this out when I only have 2 lines being fixed in there. Like right here. This to me makes more sense because it's only 2 lines going over 2 different lines. Up here, it's 2 lines going over 3. We could prioritize the water going in. Let's try something else. If I do a bridge over right there, that means we only need a bridge right here. Which means that needs a bridge. We still need to move the pipes around again. Yeah, no matter what we do, we need to move the saltwater pipe down. So we're gonna have to deconstruct all of these bridges right here. Go like this, and like this. Alright, let's also queue up a little bit of aluminum again. This time I'm going to queue up 20. Let's do a regular pod. Well, none of that. And let's do a prediction. We have 30 points in tops, 169 points in bottoms, and no other points. So what I'm going to guess out of Ani's irony is that it's going to be not clothes. I was also checking that all 3 kittens are at my feet right now. Sleeping away. As expected, it wasn't clothing at all. So sorry to everyone that put in a total of 199 points. It is actually wallpaper. It's always clothes until someone wants it to be clothes. Then it's something else. I actually want them to prioritize this stuff first. And while we have these disconnected, all of this should be moving up a little bit easier. And we're also going to figure out how to get that across. Not like that. And we can actually send it up already. I just go like this. Then we can disconnect like this. I'm just waiting for this packet to get emptied. There we go. I'm gonna pause because I think this is gonna mess up where it's going. There we go. And then if we add our 3 bridges going back up again, that should give us enough space to do all of our spaghetti stuff over here. We can also reclaim all of this, which should help us in building the other pipes that we're trying to get built in. Right, let's do our bridges again. It doesn't matter what we prioritize going in, although I think it would be easier for us to go like this. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to disconnect this so that it starts draining that one pipe. Because then we can go straight across. I'm not going to put this in yet because I want to be able to see this get drained. That's this whole thing done as soon as we have all the pipes in. So I'm going to just go like this. Actually, no, let's give us extra space for bridges. And this over. Disconnect both of those. I am also going to disconnect from here, just so that we can empty this out once they build that bridge. Oh, where was it all going? It just jumped up to being that empty. I don't know. Welcome in, Rem! Put on the crown? Sure thing. Where's the front? There it is. I feel like it's not fitting correctly, but oh well. Alright, we have that bridge in, so we can go like this, bridge over the salt water. Disconnect that, and that's the inlet. Now we need to do the outlet. I miscounted how far I need to go for the bridges. Or did I? This salt water is gonna have to be drained. I don't like duplicate drained. I don't think we're using salt water at all right now. But we are using a little bit for the water weeds. So this may be getting drained. Oh, it has to drain out 10 kilograms out of here before a packet goes up. I think. Unless it's just not going in because there's nothing, no like outlet pipe right there. I don't know, we'll figure it out later. But anyway, if we go like this, I'm gonna pause because they're gonna come over here and start building it. We would bridge over here. And we would still need to bridge up here. Either way, there's gonna have to be 2 vertical bridges. Pipe spaghetti, 100% Rem. And these are just temporary pipes to begin with. How could we just do 3 vertical bridges, one after another? We did that. That would probably be the easiest way to get everything rearranged, which means moving the salt water down one more time. That's the easiest fix. We're gonna do that. Requires the least amount of work. Does mean that I have to do this whole line again. Luckily, our saltwater geysers are dormant right now. So it's not like we're preventing us from using the salt water. I am, on the other hand, going to try and empty these pipes. If I'm lucky. Connect you up. I should have disconnected from here. Because now I have to put that bridge back in to get rid of that polluted water. Disconnect you. That's where the bridge goes in. Doesn't matter if that gets recooled. Actually, it would matter. Can I have this done now? So we can get rid of that polluted water? Disconnect this. Do we want to disconnect that? No. We do, on the other hand, want to put in the pipe. Or the bridge. And after that, autosave. Connect that, and that should at least bring it upwards. Okay, so it is getting a pipe direction in here. How little salt water are we using that this isn't changing at all? I am very confused. Alright, so if I do plumbing, we're gonna need to plumb that and this. This will get changed after it goes up. This doesn't have polluted water in it anymore. Bridge, bridge. Disconnect, disconnect. Disconnect, disconnect. Bridge, bridge. This gets connected to the outlet. This gets connected all the way over here. Up, up, up. Straight across once that's emptied. Actually, if I disconnect here... How do I cancel this? Cancel sweep mop. I don't think that's working. Oh, that's sweep mop. That's not plumbing. What would plumbing be? You know what? Just all. Because this can actually be connected in. And once the bridge is there, it should move down one. And then we connect this together, and that should move down one. This is coming together. Is it happening fast? No, but it's still getting there. We do kind of need that polluted water up here near immediately, so I'm just going to do that. Didn't mean to do the bridge, but oh well. Disconnect you, and that together. Disconnect that. This together. Once I do two bridges, polluted water should go up, and that's fine. Now we just need to do this bridge, which is also on the 7. We'll be able to connect in the salt water, which we're not actually using as quickly as I was expecting us to. Actually, that's empty. Maybe we are using it as quickly as I wanted us to? I don't know, chat. I'm a little bit confused on this. But anyway, our preloaded water is getting moved around. We have our saltwater system set back up so we can cool it later. This is doing a 50-50 split. Saltwater came from somewhere. I have no idea where all that saltwater just came from. Oh, we're probably emptying bottles. Now that we're not using so much stuff on a priority of 7, we're probably cleaning up the base. I say base, but really mean the entire asteroid. Our aluminum still hasn't caught up yet. Unidentified ghost. Chat, you might want to try and catch that. I have a feeling that is a Halloween exclusive Pokemon. Wow, 2 noises at once. One of those 2 noises was the Fire Red Leaf Green noise. And you guys can't see the hat. Or the crown. If I go like that. I think I just need the camera up higher. We're going to be figuring that out at some point. Right, how is the gases in here? Yeah, the carbon dioxide's almost down to the point where I want it. I don't want it on this level if I can avoid it. So what if I turn this down to like 950? That might just give enough room for this. Because there's only 30... Not even 100 grams of carbon dioxide in that level. Apparently I caught the ghost, but Gina did not. Are we close to having this done? GG, Gino. Why is there chlorine? There's bleach stone next to the water just thing. I can see it now. It displaced the oil. We're gonna need to build that pump back in again. How many times have we made this pump and destroyed it? And you guys... Okay, that is on a 7, never mind. And what I think we're going to do, since we're not really filling this, is I'm just going to build a tile right here so that it spreads out the oil. And then we should at least get a 3-way liquid lock instead of just 2. How is this over here? That's upgraded. This is a vacuum. We can get rid of this pump again. Deconstruct you, deconstruct you. We're gonna grab this, made out of steel this time. It shouldn't take them too long to come over here and deconstruct both things. And they're still putting water into that, so I need to tell them to stop doing that as well. When did they finish deconstructing this? There we go. Let's stop. Deconstruct. Sweep all that out. Is this area getting colder now that we don't have that there? It's hard to tell. It looks like the gas is escaping over this vent more than it is at the one closest to this area. Okay, it is queued up for deconstruct. I'm gonna set this on a 7 because that's a little bit more important than doing the cooling stuff over here. Is that bleachstone? There is a bunch of bleachstone right here. I'm gonna have to make just a storage bin for bleachstone, I think, at this point. What is this for? That was just to move wood around. So what I'm gonna do, because I think I need a lot of bins, is that we'll just set this up to being bleachstone. Algae, we'll grab more food for the fish. I do need to point out that one of our announcements for safety meetings says that I have a safety meeting in 2 days. I actually do not have a safety meeting this Wednesday. It was moved to next week on Wednesday, the 19th. So that will be updated. I just did not update it today. It's taking us so long to do this. Oh, the stuff's already in it. Okay, deconstruct this, then actually we can deconstruct that as well. Nope, don't deconstruct that. Oh. We do need this one taken apart so we can put a tile right there, but we don't need this one taken out. And then we can get rid of all this. Let's wait until we have the tile to do all that. Alright, that has polluted oxygen all of a sudden. I guess the chlorine was pushed out. How are the gases over here? Perfect. Hopefully I don't end up wanting to do more stuff over here. They're still doing the piping in here, but we have aluminum again. So that means we're done all the radiant pipes. And then since we have water over here getting supplied to the bristle blossoms, we can just tie off of that by doing a bridge. Just like that. And I'm going to set this to anything below that. So the moment water comes in, it stops using it. Because this shouldn't be that cold. No, it's not. How's this area coming? Insulated tile. On a 7. This is somewhat important. When we come back from the ad break, we're going to be doing our final prediction of today's stream. Okay, since that is working, I want to put a tile right here and hope that we don't destroy the oil. Awesome, we did not destroy the oil. We only moved it. So now that's a vacuum, this will be a vacuum. Actually, it already says that it is. That's just how strong the pump is, I guess. So now we have a double check over here. Make sure that none of it goes in. No, any extra gases from outside the base. This is gonna have to be changed to steel. That's not what I wanted. Mass sweep all that. Mass sweep of that. We have some water getting pushed around. Get rid of that as well. And that. How's this doing? This is all done. So we can get rid of all that. After we put the power line right here, we can get rid of all this extra power. Let's put those back in. Now we're there. Ooh, we're gonna need a double liquid lock over on this side. Can I put my feet up without kicking a kitten? Yes, I can. Alright, do I have enough room if I move the Atmos suits over a few tiles? Doesn't matter that we cut into here. And actually, I don't think we need to move the Atmos suits if we try and do a double liquid lock. So I'm just going to start placing it in and see if we can get rid of all the gas. Wait, what are we missing from over here? Oh, these. With all that, make sure that we got everything from there. Alright, how did this one bucket get filled? Actually, if I do this... 13.7 tons in the entire base, that's not full, but it won't get full either. Starvation, Ari's just far away from the food. Alright, all that's built in, so let's get rid of all this. They'll do that eventually, it doesn't have to get done right now. Alright, we are looking to have more igneous rock, so let's come down here and dig out a little bit more. I'm gonna cancel out Abyssalite. And I'll queue that up as well. This should give us a decent amount, but then we're going to use it for the ladders. I do, on the other hand, need to get down to here. So if I were to tell them to dig this out, that should allow the liquid to get down here before the carbon dioxide. Maybe it won't. If I cancel that, we have to put a tile right here and here. Just so that we can get rid of the carbon dioxide in that area. This says it has polluted oxygen, which it does, and that's carbon dioxide again. We still haven't hit the bottom of the asteroid yet. Keep wanting to say colony. Now we can deconstruct both of those. Queue this back up again. No, they're coming down here to do all these. Oh, for a second I thought there was carbon dioxide in there again. False alarm. Alright, that should give us igneous rock over time. I'm gonna tell them to uproot this. Actually, it has oil right there, so it wouldn't even off-gas if it had chlorine. Because if I cancel the dig of that, and I put a dig right here, it doesn't get that plant, so it's only one tile high. I didn't think to check that before we started doing this. Let's do another layer. Just because they're doing this so quickly. There's a Kecleon in chat. If you want a Pokemon that can turn invisible, that's the one for you. We've seen it a few times in chat, so I wouldn't expect anyone to need it. Oh wow, Gino, what happened? Once they deconstruct that bridge, we can turn this on. Then we should see over time that this gets cool. I mean, it's already spreading over here. There's a lot of yellow up to about this tree. And I am surprised that they are still growing. They go up to 40. That makes sense. Alright, they got rid of the bridge. We can turn this on now. Now again, that's not going to cool down this area. That has to be cooled down by vents. How do we want to do this? I think we just do here and then come back. Seems like the easiest way to do this. We do want it made out of aluminum ore. We'll go all the way over here to the end, and then come all the way back. Good job, Gino, catching Kecleon. Now we need a way to get hydrogen all the way over there. So what I'm gonna do is... just go like that, and bridge it on. And then this, if it is below -5, that'll turn on so that hopefully it doesn't fill the only thing first. There is still stuff over here to be deconstructed. Alright, and with that, I think it's time for us to do a little bit more of this. Also, we should have came back from the ads a while ago, so let's do the last prediction. What's the pod in the top left corner going to be? Is it going to be tops, bottoms, buildings, decorations, or wallpaper? You have 10 minutes to vote. And once those 10 minutes are up, we'll probably wait until my alarm goes off for us to rate out before we actually do the prediction. We'll do it at the very end. But I need to see my Solinus picture. So that I can see how this gets built in. So right here should be a double liquid lock. Just like that. We need it this far along because of coal generators going up top. And then it's 2 tiles deep here because it's going to get filled with polluted water until it gets hot enough to flash the polluted water. And that's going to take quite a while. Now for the rest of this... we are going to do those 3 tiles, and then I'm going to queue up rooms like that to be built later. And then these just get connected. So I leave the liquid in there. I think I'm going to drain out the liquid somehow. So let's actually cancel all of that. And we'll just slowly build across here. let's do bridge this way. Where does the bridge over here go? I think it goes right here. That'll go all the way up. And then the rest of this is just floors of ladders. And then right here. Now some of this is going to be tiles. So if I go back through here and cancel a few things like this whole run, and then leave 2 ladders but cancel that, that's all going to be mesh tiles. And then over here we're going to cancel all of this. These 2 skip 1, all of this. And these 2 skip a bunch. That's total 6 tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cancel all of that. The same amount for down here. And then counting backwards we go 2. And then it's 4 tiles, which should leave us with 3 ladders. Which it does. Alright, so to tell you what this is all for, this is a battery on each one of these levels. This is for natural gas, this is going to be for petroleum, and then this is going to be for all of the coal generators, so it's a total of 12. And then this whole floor is natural gas generators. Skip that ladder, this is all the petroleum generators. Down here we skip 6 ladders, coal generators, coal generators. Right here is an ethanol distillery. And now I'm going to deconstruct everything else that's not those things. And then we do have one thing we have to figure out how we're going to get rid of. We need to make a 2-tile room filled with steam that just has an aqua tuner cooling down turbines from up here. In the future, we could just have it opened into the atmosphere because this is going to be a large steam colony or steam asteroid at some point in the future. We're not going to take the Sweetle eggs, we don't need them. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. How are they doing down here? It looks like they did get this Spore Kid. So I'm just going to tell them to finish digging out the rest of this entire biome. It also gives a way into some cobalt over here, so we don't have to build down to it. Let's also dig that and this. And then I guess over here as well. I should be able to get all of that even coming down here. And that's all for Geodude because pretty much all the ladders are done. Alright. How much of this can I do without having to do ladders? Let's lock this in. They can do all of this. Highly doubt they can reach anything else. So they'd have to be able to get to here. They can't get to here. So they're probably working on the vents for the hydrogen. Which actually I do want them to do first, so I'm going to prioritize them by doing, you know, let's set this to construction. What are plants set as? Duties, maybe? They are set as duties. Well, we don't need these vent generators on a 7 or a 6. For a second I looked like it had two different numbers there, but it's because there's cobalt behind it. Alright, so they should be doing that. Where's this water ending up? Oh, it's just down here where we were. Look at Small Town Sophie helping out. For a while, it was just Gino digging everything. Now Sophie is helping. And we reached the lava biome, the magma biome, so this is the bottom of the base. Now, it does do mountainous range area down here. Which means that the iron volcano is probably right here in this slime biome. Where's the water vent? We have steam here. There's a water vent somewhere over here. I'm not seeing anything that screams vent. So we probably just didn't find it yet. That's what's going to be stuck up here and also used for our oil. We'll be using 100% of that vent just to make oil. How much does this have now? I'm going to turn that up to a 6. Still haven't built any of that, but that's fine. Because I told them to prioritize the vents over here. They might finish doing the loop before they finish doing the pipe bringing the hydrogen over. There's only 2 more pipes that they have to make. Then again, they can do everything inside first. Or faster, I mean. Hello, there goes Marie teaching me that I'm wrong. Alright, I want to tell them to sweep everything or stuff will not fall. We'll get all that. Actually, I'm going to set all of that on a 4. It's not important to get done now. We do have the hydrogen coming over already. It's gonna take a while for this to back up, since it's doing a 50-50 split after doing a split for itself. So I might do the cut and connect thing to try and get a hydrogen built in here quickly. It looks like the prediction is ready, so in 5 minutes when the alarm goes off, that's when we're going to do the prediction. We do have quite a bit of points in clothing specifically. So hopefully it is a piece of clothing so you guys can win some points back. If not, I think this might be rigged. I'm going to wait until there's a packet in every tile. And then we'll worry about filling each tile. Actually, we might not have to worry about filling each tile, because it's already starting to back up in the supply tube. Oh, there's one packet that we need to fill again. Alright, so with that, I'm going to disconnect over here. We're going to have to reconnect that at some point in the future. But I don't want to keep queuing up more hydrogen to come over here when we only need like 1 packet's worth. That's not full. This definitely isn't full. Everything else should be. So I tell them to deconstruct this. come over here and connect this back in. It's going to send some up, but once I deconstruct this, everything should get sent backwards. And then we'll also be able to turn this on. I think this is Marie coming down to do it. And there it all goes. So now this, you get turned on. Coming in at 36, leaving at 23. So it's going down about 13 degrees each round. It is going to take a while to cool down carbon dioxide. It's not a very fast heat transfer thing. I heard a Gen 1 noise. There is a Magnemite in chat. We've definitely seen Magnemite. I've caught it, but that doesn't mean everyone has. So we cool down maybe a degree. Who's suffocating? Yeah, why are you suffocating? Because there are gases over here that you cannot breathe in. But we're still piping it out. There's so much chlorine gas in here. I think we're working through this. I'm not entirely sure, but I think we are working through it. Alright. What else were we doing over here? We were just focusing on the temperature here. So it's going in at 20. It's heating up about 13 degrees, which means the amount that the machine is cooling down is getting reheated. Or I guess being introduced in this atmosphere. Which is already green. The same thing with up here. This is getting cooled down as well. We are getting some mealwood. We have the Bristol Blossoms as well, which don't have sweepers. How can I do this? If I go here, that means that middle piece isn't going to be picked up by anything. That's the alarm. I need to see where your light goes. So if we look at the top of the ladders to be in the height of the plant, one there, and one here. That means the one in the center does not get light. If we move it up one, being in line with this ladder, we would have enough space for the auto sweepers, and we wouldn't need this middle light. That's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna work on moving all of this up when we come back on Wednesday. And I can already cue this, as well as all that. But we will be here on Wednesday. I know the message says that I have a safety meeting this Wednesday, but it got moved to next week on the 19th of November. It is not on Wednesday on the 12th. Ooh, ethanol. Free food, in a way. Okay, they did everything I thought they were going to do. I'll queue up them digging everything over here. And then we'll slowly build ourselves up. Once they do this ladder, we'll dig downwards. And then this is open so that all the water hopefully drains out as quickly as it can. It's not going to be too good, but... I think I kept this length just to match this. Yeah, I did. I wanted it to be the same ladder run. Never liked work meetings, usually a waste of time. It's always a waste of time. Even with the school buses, it's pretty much just make sure your bus is empty when you leave. Don't hit anything. Don't say things to students that is not good for a child to hear. It's stupid stuff. It's pretty much just a meeting for the new people. The people that have been there for a while already know not to do stupid things. Alright, last check. We're down to 17 now. So this is getting cooled down quickly. And if we could, I would like to get all this done before we raid out. They have the power in, so let's deconstruct all of this. I'm also going to deconstruct this portion so that I can at least put in one light again so we can get the Bristle Blossoms back up and running. We're going to have to move this. And this time I'm going to make it out of steel so that we don't have to worry about it later on. Not that whole thing. There we go. Priority, all of this, and that. That's not everything. Alright. Deconstruct. Move it to there. Deconstruct those two things. I did not pay attention to where the auto sweepers were going to be in terms of power, so let's put the power back for these lights here. And then I guess we'll just go like this. We'll put the conveyor loader there. And in terms of how we're going to connect it in, the power should be at the top portion, which it is. So if we're going to do it there, let's go like this, down. Bridge the food over. Alright. Deconstruct that. They should be able to reach everything in here because it's 4 tiles high now. You there. You there. You here. Grab this light, put that there. Oh, this is going to mess with the gases. Why is there polluted oxygen in here? And chlorine. Why does it seem like we got gases reintroduced? The polluted oxygen I can understand. Something turned into polluted dirt and then off-gassed. But the chlorine... How did chlorine get in here? Oh, for these. Or for the sleet wheat, or water weeds, I mean. They take bleach stone. Okay, so I'm gonna ignore all the gases that are in here. Otherwise, we're gonna keep worrying about keeping it oxygen, and I don't think we need to do that. I do want a mass sweep to make sure that we have everything. Actually, no, we need to put power in first. And then we can worry about the food, because once the power goes in, the food's going to get picked up. Okay, they picked up the little bit of food that was on the ground. So if I do that bit, and then everything inside... Let me come back to delete all that. Even more sweep. Okay, now we should be good on power in here. Even more sweep. It's still screening for body temperature, but if you look at the stuff behind it, carbon dioxide's at 16 at the lowest number that I saw there, temperature-wise. So that should mean that this is going from 12. Alright. Looks like our highest point is 24.9 degrees. And this area should be getting colder as well. Now, are they freezing? No, they're just slightly too hot. They're a degree hot. Alright, but we don't want to pick up phosphorate. We do want to pick up everything else, though. Alright, how are they doing over here? They're doing pretty good, but stuff fell, so the liquids didn't all get out. We'll also be, in a way, saving these Pacus, because they'll be able to fall down here. I think there might be another oil biome hidden somewhere over here, or over here, in this little portion. Otherwise, I think we've dug out all of our igneous rock, and we're now strictly relying on this one volcano, which is dormant for another 30 cycles. So, what I could do is dig into this and just let it spill out on the ground. It will mess with stuff later on, but not for a while, I hope. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna put a tile. Now let's grab from here. A tile of obsidian. Right there. Who's trapped? Well, don't build stuff on piles that fall. Okay. We have gone past far too far. So let's do our final pod, our final prediction. There's 30 points in tops, 269 in bottoms, and it is another thing that's not clothing. That's a building. So sorry, everyone. It looks like clothing was not today's predictions. Let's take the picture first, because I end up saving after I take the picture anyway. So, screenshot. Save.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to catch me live, I stream on Twitch on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 AM EST to 12:30 PM EST, and on Sundays from 10 AM EST to 2 PM EST.